What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video on the Big Blue in the Bronx YouTube channel. Be sure to hit that like button, comment, and subscribe. Turn on post notifications so you know when a live stream pops or video drops. Appreciate y'all coming back. We'll see if we have a Dead Red podcast out for you guys tomorrow in terms of a live, or is it going to be the Patriots game? Sox may still be feeling under the weather, so we'll definitely update you guys on that. Please check Twitter, and if you're not on Twitter, community notes will also be updating you guys as well. So it's been a while since I've talked about the Yankees individually in a video, maybe since their elimination from the playoffs, but here we are talking Yankees again. The offseason has been very slow. We really haven't covered the Yankees too much on Boys in the Big Apple, other than the fact that the Yankees front office is throwing spin out there to the beat reporters, and the beat reporters are throwing spin to us that we're the problem, with the whole Judge situation. Obviously, Judge was offered $37 million by the Yankees. That's probably going to be in some separate video. There's probably going to be some, more talks this week with Aaron Judge. So I'm going to save a video for that time. But as I've stated, going back to the Darius Slayton video, I want to make more content, grow the channel a little bit more. Thanks to all the people who subscribed off the Slayton video. This is your place to be in terms of New York sports, a lot of other different things. We have fun on here, and I hope you enjoy your stay. So I'm going to go into someone who I've been calling for the Yankees to sign, trade for, get, whatever you want to call it, for the past year, even dating back to post-lockout free agency. I was a big proponent of Carlos Rodon. Rodon, obviously, you guys know, pitcher for the White Sox, pitcher for the Giants. We'll go into specifics and all that stuff. But a lot of people came to me with, oh, he's injury prone. And I was a guy, and I'm going to be fully transparent here because, that's the way I like to be with my fan base. I didn't want Justin Verlander in 2022. I didn't. I'm like, this guy's come back from Tommy John, all these other different things. He doesn't have good numbers in the playoffs, and he's old. So please, let's stay away, but I want Carlos Rodon. And at the time, we really didn't know what the rotation was going to be like in terms of, expectations and all these other things fucking flying around me. But Garrett Cole obviously was coming off a disappointing start versus the Red Sox in the playoffs. Sevy was in and out. You didn't know what to expect from him. Tyon was mid. Montgomery was mid. Cortez, he gave you a couple of solid innings in 21. And obviously had, a really good, even great season in 2022. But, obviously I'm going back to my Rodon days and takes. But then also we get to the trade deadline. Another opportunity for the Yankees to get him. And it didn't really seem as they were interested. They went out and got Frankie Montas, who I'm going to be transparent again. I don't like him. I don't like Frankie Montas. I wasn't necessarily a fan of the consolation prize of Frankie Montas because we didn't get Castillo. I personally, once again, I state this, I would have given up Volpe or Peraza to go get Castillo because that would have at least solidified a rotation. Now, obviously, the bats have been the problem the last few years, which some people may find weird with this video. Oh, you're starting off with pitching first, but Rodon is a guy I've really liked for years. And I think, obviously, you factor in some of the injury risk, whatever. In my opinion, it's a risk that the Yankees should take. That way you don't have a playoff scenario where, okay, Montas can only pitch 2 innings, and you start Tyon. He's a free agent now, but you started Tyon against the Astros. This guy doesn't have too much playoff experience. I think he didn't pitch well. I'll go to the stats specifically. He didn't pitch too well against Houston in 21, I believe it was. And obviously, San Francisco did not make the playoffs in 22. But obviously, it was going off his days with the White Sox. But going back to the deadline, I'm like, look, we obviously didn't get Castillo. I don't want Montas. Injury concerns. Not a great pitcher in terms of all different things. I want Carlos Rodon. Now, they didn't get Carlos Rodon. San Francisco held on to him. And now, 3 times a charm. 3 times a charm. I think this was probably a similar scenario to Garrett Cole where the Yankees could have signed him, could have traded for him, but they held on to some prospects, whatever. But this is the time to get him because I can tell you Carlos Rodon's not signing a 2-year contract. Just my personal opinion. Now, he signed a 2-year contract with the San Francisco Giants. in 2022, but he had the opt-out, and he opted out. He was earning $21 million for the 2022 season. He did spend some time on the IL for people who want to know and all that stuff. But overall, before I go into the stats and stuff like that and analytics, because I'm trying to expand my forte a little bit in terms of pitching, in terms of baseball talk, whatever. The Yankees, in my opinion, have a chance to add the best power lefty they've had since probably CC Sabathia. Now, maybe there's a power lefty I'm forgetting in there, but you look at Nestor Cortes. He doesn't blow you away with a fastball. He's a spitball pitcher. He's good. He's solid. I'm not trying to criticize Nestor Cortes, but fastball, top of the rotation, that's not his forte. You're not going to rely too much on it. Rodon, he's that type of guy. And a 1-2, maybe even 3-punch of him, Cole, and this is not specific order-wise, him, Cole, and Sevy, and then you have Cortes as a 4, and basically 5 could be Montas, 5 could be some of the other guys. I mean, in my opinion, it just makes sense. And once again, I know I'm delaying the stats looking whatever, but people are going to say, well, the injuries, right? This is a good risk. Now, we know the Yankees have this forte, this repertoire of going after injured pitchers, and really injured mid to past their prime pitchers. Like, Corey Kluber was an interesting one, to say the least. Jamison Tyon, I mean, he was pretty mid. Jordan Montgomery, they developed pretty mid. Montgomery obviously really wasn't injury prone. Tyon was a different story, and, they just go after these guys. It's just weird. Montas, I mean, as I said before, I don't like him. And we'll see, if my thoughts change on him this year. But you could really bolster the rotation. And also, this video is relevant because, according to several beat reporters, the Yankees are looking to bolster their pitching. Now, hopefully it doesn't happen in the bullpen, not in terms of, I don't want them to get better in the bullpen. I do. But at the same time, let's not spend in the bullpen, right? We got some guys coming up. Unfortunately, Steven Ridings is no longer a Yankee. He's with the Mets now. So Angry John is sort of happy, if you guys know Angry John. But the only guy I would consider from the bullpen in free agency is probably Tommy Kahnle. Because he's a cheap option. He pitched really well for the Dodgers last year, but that's a whole different ballgame, whole different story. Overall, let's go into the statistics. So last year for the San Francisco Giants, Rodon was an all-star. He was also 6th in Cy Young voting. He was also an all-star in 21, and he also pitched a no-hitter in 21, so that's good. Really, the last 2 years have been the highlights of his career thus far, hence, obviously, the high tension in the market for him. I believe he's one of the best starters on the market. I don't think DeGrom is realistic for the Yankees. I don't think Syndergaard's realistic for the Yankees. But a guy like Rodon, in my opinion, is. It just goes how far Rodon wants to go in terms of his salary. Maybe his years a little bit, because, we do have to keep in mind they still have Aaron Judge to sign, maybe make some, adjustments on offense, and we know who we're dealing with in terms of Hal Steinbrenner and Ryan Cashman. But 14-8, 2.88 ERA last year. That's the second lowest of his career. 178 innings pitched, which is the most he's pitched in his career, obviously. We've mentioned the injury concerns about a dozen times here. He doesn't give up too many home runs. That is what I like. Now, you look at the Yankee rotation, you look at the statistics, they don't give too many home runs up, except for a guy like Gerrit Cole. Like Nestor Cortes, I think, gave up like 16. Sevy didn't give up that much. Montas, obviously, I'm not even going to go into him fully because, well, he only spent like 25% of past the trade deadline with the Yankees. Tyon, I mean, he gave up a ton of home runs. He's no longer a Yankee, so I'm not going to consider him a part of it. Cortes, as I mentioned, Sevy, those guys really don't give up home runs. And obviously we know Yankee Stadium is a homer-friendly ballpark, right? Whether you're an opposite field righty, a towering lefty bat, but overall, he doesn't give up many home runs. Now, real quickly, while we're on here, I'm actually going to do some live research and go into his MLB page, see what he had against the lefties, the righties, and the batting average against. So last year, his batting average against was 202, and that's pretty good. That's actually pretty solid for Carlos Rodon. The year before, 189, and then, it was towering between the 280s and the 210s his previous year before. And as I've said, the last 2 years for him are highlights of his career. Now I'm going to real quickly see if I could get his lefty-righty splits. Game logs, splits, here we go. I don't care about turf, away games, home games. Okay, so he is 179 against the left-handed hitters. Just want to make sure. Yep, 179 versus left-handed hitters, which is good, obviously. Obviously, different teams like to position their lefty-lefty matchups, but even if he was, how would I put this delicately? I don't know. Just forget anything I just said in that mumbly-jumbly stuff, but it's good that he doesn't give up many hits, and just the batting average is good against the lefties, because obviously lefties, and opposite field righties have a fun time at Yankee Stadium in terms of hitting home runs, and he's 207 against righties, and obviously righties will have a little bit more success against the lefties, but overall, I just think it's solid from him. So those are the splits in terms of lefty-righty matchups. Obviously went over the home runs, stuff like that. 52 walks. I mean, that's the fourth highest in his career. I'm not so concerned about that. If you like FIP, 2.25. Homers per 9, lowest of his career at 0.6. Hits per 9, 6.6, which I believe is the second lowest of his career. These fucking flies are really bothering me right now. Earned runs, 57, 131 hits, which is the second highest of his career. But once again, he pitched more innings. He pitched the most innings of his career, so you're going to have that go up. In terms of his baseball savant page, as I said, I've tried expanding my forte a little bit. I'm just going to try to find it here. Baseball savant, Carlos Rodon. Let's go into the percentiles real quick. Average exit velocity and hard hit percentage are average. His expected ERA, his expected batting average, his expected slugging, they're above average. And that above average obviously being in the dark red category. Barrel percentage, walk percentage, and chase rate, all of them are in the good to great zones. Whiff percentage is really good in the 86th percentile. K percentage, I probably mentioned it already, but 95th percentile. Fastball velocity, 80th percentile. Fastball spin, 77th percentile. Curve spin and extension are average to poor. But at the end of the day, I'm looking for him to be a power lefty, not some of the other stuff as well. But he does throw fastball, slider, curve, and changeup for ones who do not know. Now, I'm going to try to go to the percentages of what he throws. So fastball, 61.2% of the time. Slider, 31.1%. 5.7% curveball, and then doesn't throw the changeup too often, 2%. Obviously, if you're a bullpen guy, it's so different with the sinker and stuff like that. He has pitched a sinker over the course of his career, but I think that's moved out of his repertoire. If you want to look at whiff percentage, put away percentage, strikeouts, and stuff like that, and also batting average as well, individually with pitches, something I really like to look at in terms of the advanced analytics and all these different things. He has most strikeouts off of, and I believe this is 2022, he has his most strikeouts off that fastball. Once again, power lefty, 213 batting average. So once again, that goes up with the percentage you throw it. 193 batting average for hitters against the slider, and he's only given up one home run in that category. 93 strikeouts. The curveball, 9 strikeouts, 038 batting average. So when he uses it, he's pretty effective in that category. And then you look at the changeup, 500 batting average, 0 strikeouts off that. And once again, he threw 59 pitches, or I should say threw the changeup 59 times. So that was like the least used of his pitches. Put away percentage, it's actually a little bit more, 0.1% more with the slider than it is the fastball. Then you have the curveball and the changeup. Whiff percentage, it's actually at 50% with the changeup, but once again, you have to factor in how many times he throws it. It's kind of like football snap percentages and all these other different things that I look at as well. Slider is probably the second most whiff percentage. Then it's third with four seam and all that sort of stuff. I'm not going to go into expect batting average and all that stuff. But that's pretty much it on Carlos Rodon. I wanted to go over the advanced analytics, the stats, the overlook on him. He's a two-time All-Star. Should this be the first priority on the list for the Yankees? No. But at the same time, as winter meetings heat up and all these other different things, Rodon's going to get a ton of interest. I think Texas could be involved. I think San Diego could be involved as well. These are just my predictions. This is don't have any sources or anything. But my prediction is him going to San Diego. We'll see where he goes. But I definitely would love the Yankees to take a crack at him. Definitely maybe get into talks with him because you could really bolster this rotation. Now, once again, I think he's the most realistic in terms of starting pitching. The Yankees reportedly are looking into bolstering their pitching. But at the same time, the Yankees do like to keep their money and salary and all that other stuff within limits. Aaron Judge. If they don't get him, maybe Xander Bogaerts or Brandon Nimmo, all these different guys. Like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on post notifications so you know when a live stream pops or your drops. Appreciate y'all coming back. Definitely subscribe. Probably going to get a couple of new guys with this one. We are on the road to 800 subs. I believe we're 17 away. So let's get there. I want to get to 800 by the end of the year. Maybe even 900. Maybe even 900 if we keep consistently with videos. 1,000 is a pipe dream for right now in terms of the rest of the year. But obviously, we got time to grow and all these different things. Peace out, guys. See you later, and stay cool.